Hi, I'm Nathaniel Johnston, and Johnston Photography. Today we're going to preview the new Sony RX100 Mark III for focus camera. The RX100 III boasts a lot of new great features, including a Bions X processor, not to be confused with the original Bions processor. This processor is faster and it enables a full sensor readout during video shooting, which is awesome and really boosts the video quality. For you video heads, one of the things that's great is that the RX100 III is getting a bump up to 50 megabits per second in video streaming, which is a pretty big bump. The RX100 III sacrifices a little bit of focal length. The new lens is a 24-70 as opposed to a 28-100. But what that does is it enables a slightly faster lens. So what you get is an f1.8 to 2.8 variable as you zoom, as opposed to the original f1.8 to f4.9. If you ask me, the average consumer is much more likely to be using this camera on the wide angle as opposed to the extreme telephoto. Some people are swayed by a really long telephoto length. I wouldn't pay attention to that. I'm much more interested in a good, solidly performing lens that's wide to mid-range. Some other things that I find particularly interesting about the camera is a pop-up EVF. I'm not a big fan of EVFs, especially for DSLRs. I really like the optical viewfinder. But to have a viewfinder in such a small camera is really helpful because sometimes you're in a bright situation, you're out in the park or at the beach, and you want to take a picture and it's really hard to see the back of the screen with all the glare. If you've got an EVF, that gets rid of that problem. That's a really impressive feature to have built into this camera. The Sony RX100 III also, surprisingly, has a 3-stage ND filter built in. So when you reach that maximum shutter speed, you suddenly have some ND filters that you can pop in there to bring the light down so you can shoot in very, very bright environments. Maybe a snowy mountain while you're skiing. I'm really excited about the new Sony RX100 III. I think it's a great camera. I find the ND filters a very, very appealing addition, as well as the new lens. It's great to have a long telephoto, but I'd rather have a really good quality lens that's maybe a little bit wider, especially for a small, almost pocket-sized point and shoot. I think people are going to find that much more helpful. One of the things that I really didn't like about the RX100 1 and 2 was the lack of a tactile feedback in the aperture ring and the other dials. I felt like as you were rotating the aperture ring or the other dials, you almost felt like you were in a limbo land and you weren't really sure if you were making those changes unless you looked at the numbers change. Well, this solves that. You know when you've turned it because you can feel a little satisfactory click, and I think that's a big improvement. Without putting hands on, it's difficult to say exactly, but my feeling is this is a definite improvement in the RX100 line. I think that having the tactile feedback, the ND filter, higher movie resolution, and a better lens is going to make a bigger difference in the user experience. So I'm excited for this camera. The Sony RX III is aimed at the photo enthusiast who doesn't want to spend too much money on a really good camera. I think you're going to get a lot of bang for your buck with this camera. Thanks for watching this preview of Sony's new RX100 III. Stay tuned for the review that'll be coming out soon. I'm Nathaniel Johnston, and Johnston Photography. If you'd like to see some of my stuff, check out my website, njohnstonphotography.com. See you next time. Don't forget to subscribe and like us.